During the early 18th century, Spain, France, and Britain fought a number of wars for control over North America. At the end of the Spanish War of Succession, or Queen Anne's War, France was forced to surrender part of their North American territories to Britain. King George's War, part of the larger Austrian War of Succession, resulted in a territorial stalemate. During Father Le Loutre's War, French Acadians battled against the British occupation, but were defeated and deported to cut off France's supply lines. Caught in the middle, Native Americans were forced to pick sides, with the Wabanaki fighting with France and the Iroquois with Britain. The French sent Pierre-Joseph Céloron into the Mississippi Basin to assert French land claims, angering many natives who were, in Céloron's words, entirely devoted to the English. Céloron warned Chief Old Britain to stop trading with the English. On June 21, 1752, a French war party along with native allies attacked the trading post, killing members of the Miami Nation, including Old Breton, who was boiled and ritually cannibalized. Other tribes in the Ohio Valley wanted the British out and allied with the French, like the Delaware, Shawnee, and Ottawa. Many tribes were multi-ethnic, formed from survivors of displaced villages. They sought to use the French to defeat the British with the confidence that afterwards they could drive away the French with ease. In 1753, the governor of Virginia sent Major George Washington on a mission to demand the French abandon Fort Le Boeuf. When Washington returned with the French commander's refusal, the British sent him back with a larger force. Washington was joined by Iroquois chief Tanagreeson, also known as the Half-King. On May 28, 1754, the French and Indian War begins when Washington's men ambush a French scouting party in the Battle of Jumonville Glen. As Washington was accepting the French surrender, Tanagreeson split the French commander's head. Anticipating a counterattack, Washington built Fort Necessity, which fell to the French and their native allies 2 months later. The British tried to take Fort Duquesne in 1755, but were crushed by the French at the Battle of Monongahela. On May 18, 1756, Britain formally declared war on France. French forces, led by Louis-Joseph de Montcalm, captured Fort William Henry in 1757. Montcalm disarmed the British, allowing them to withdraw to Fort Edward. But during their retreat, France's native allies massacred hundreds of defenseless settlers. The newly appointed British Secretary of State William Pitt took a new approach to the war by funding the raising of militias in the British colonies. In 1758, the British captured Fort Duquesne and Fort Louisbourg, giving them access to the Gulf of St. Lawrence and soon Quebec. The British signed the treaty with the Iroquois, Lenape, and Shawnee, who could no longer ally with the French. 1759 became known as the Year of Miracles because of continuous British military victories. They captured Fort Ticonderoga, drove the French out of the Ohio Country, captured Quebec City, and took the island of Guadeloupe in the Caribbean. After surrendering Fort Niagara, the French countered in 1760 at the Battle of Ste Foy. But after losing the naval battle of Restigou, they were unable to resupply their troops. France was forced to surrender at Montreal, which ended most of the fighting in North America. To pressure the British to seek a peace agreement, the French signed a treaty with Spain, but the 7 Years' War dragged on. Britain went on to seize the French Caribbean islands Dominica and Martinique, and Spanish Havana. By 1763, diplomats in France and Spain began to seek peace. The Treaty of Paris ended the war in North America, while the Treaty of Hubertusburg ended the war in Europe. Britain took Florida from Spain in exchange for Cuba. Spain also gained Louisiana from France as payment for their losses. France surrendered all of French Canada to Britain, but recovered the Caribbean islands it had lost during the war. The 7 Years' War doubled Britain's national debt, forcing them to levy taxes on the American colonies to recoup their losses. In France, the defeat humiliated the government, and the monarchy was unable to ease the suffering caused by their new financial problems. The seeds of the French and American revolutions had been sown. We'd like to thank Jabzy for creating such diverse and engaging videos and for hosting us on his channel. If you like quick and informative history, stop by our channel at 1 Minute History or visit us at oneminutehistory.com.